Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the APL Apollo Tubes Limited Q4 FY23 results conference call hosted by Equirus Securities. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Aman Agarwal from Equirus Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thanks, Robin. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Equirus Securities, I welcome you to the 4Q FY23 earnings conference call of APL Apollo Tubes. From the management side, we have with us Mr. Sanjay Gupta, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Deepak Goyal, who is the Chief Financial Officer, and Mr. Anubhav Gupta, who is the Chief Strategy Officer. Not wasting much time, I would straight away like to hand over the call to the management team for their opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Aman, thanks for hosting us for our quarterly earnings call. Good evening, everyone. We welcome you all on our FY23 earnings call. Sorry to start this a bit late this time. Some of the directors had the travel plans. FY23 we just closed. It was like a roller coaster ride with steel prices falling from 65,000 rupees per ton to 55,000 rupees per ton, and then eventually settling between 55 to 60,000 rupees a ton. This decline was triggered after the global meltdown of commodity prices started in May 2022. It impacted building material space and APL Apollo Tubes as well, with the channel destocking and some margin pressure due to a push sales strategy when our channel partners go for destocking. But we are pretty glad to share that we ended FY23 on a high note as our sales volume recovered very sharply with 30% growth after 2 continuous years of COVID-led disruption, FY21 and FY22. And at the same time, the company's capacity increased to 3.6 million tons as we are talking right now, from 2.6 million tons post commencement of the new Raipur plant, which is our biggest ever plant. Some of the highlights we'd like to share are for FY23, the volume growth was 30% to almost 2.3 million tons. Out of this, Raipur plant contributed around 6%. The total volume from Raipur plant was 137,000 tons for full year, which now is ramping up pretty fast. The EBITDA per ton is lower for FY23 versus last year because of channel destocking, which led to some push sales strategy. And of course, Raipur plant was being stabilized, so there were some costs which got loaded upfront. Despite lower EBITDA per ton, the EBITDA growth was 8% to 10.2 billion. It was supported by a strong volume growth. The PAT growth was 4% to 6.4 billion rupees due to high depreciation as the new Raipur plant started in FY23. All of the depreciation was accounted towards the second half of FY23. The working capital days remained in single digit at 5 days, despite the inventory days going up as we started the Raipur plant. But the debtor days came further down, and we continue to sustain at a single digit working capital cycle. Operating cash flows were pretty solid as well, with 9.7 billion INR of OCF in FY23. It was almost 95% of our EBITDA. So the cash flow generation remains pretty strong. And because of the strong cash flow generation, the capex we did last year was 8.4 billion INR. Out of this, 80% was for Raipur, and now Raipur capex for 1 million ton is pretty much done. This led to slight increase in our net debt to 2.4 billion rupees versus 2.0 last year. But as the capex intensity is slowing down, this will be coming off over the next 2-3 quarters. Encouraged by strong operating cash flows, we are glad to share that the board has approved dividend of rupees 5 per share, right, which is a payout of 20% plus for company. This is one of the best payout ratios. So we are glad that the solid cash flow generation is resulting in a shareholder reward at the same time. The ROC was 29%, the ROE was 24%, and this was slightly lower YOY, but because of our heavy investments into Raipur plant, which has just started, and this year as we expect good ramp up and good profitability from Raipur, the ROEs and ROCs will inch upward of 35%, and eventually they will hit 40% once we have the full ramp up from Raipur. Coming to some of the other updates, one is the volume trends in Raipur. So you would see that we started ramping up plant from Q1 FY23 onwards, and by the time of Q4 we did 73,000 tons in volume, which was, if you analyze it was at 30% utilization, and the EBITDA per ton trends are also encouraging, upward of 4,500 per ton from Raipur. And the last 2-3 months we launched our 500 square diameter mill, and also the color coated products mainly for roofing and wall cladding. So these two complexes are stabilizing and giving us incremental volume. Because these are two new products, the market creation efforts are ongoing in an aggressive manner. Whether it is for high dia tubes for steel building solutions, or it is for color coated products for roofing, housing and industrial applications. There also we are focusing aggressively on the market creation by pushing our products to influencers and our distributors. Lastly, on some of the business decisions, which we took early FY23 was to invest some stake in our distributor Shankara. So I'm glad to share that the volume contribution from that client has increased by 180% in FY23 versus FY22. So this led to very strong relationship between the two organizations with our supply to them, and they going aggressively on the market share gains within the southern India. So this relationship turned out to be a very win-win kind of thing for each of us, and we are looking forward to further strengthen it as we have aggressive plans over the next 2 to 3 years over that platform. Coming on the guidance and future plans, our capacity expansion in Dubai in East India, and new incremental capacity in Raipur, plus some debottlenecking will take us to around 5 million ton by FY25, which is part of our Vision 2025. And for that we need a capex of rupees 5 to 6 billion INR, which will be funded from internal cash flows over the next 18 months. And by FY26 we'll target to utilize this capacity. And in next 2 years we stick to our sales volume target of 3.8 to 4 million ton by FY25 with operational capacity of 5 million ton. So more or less we are sticking to our guidelines, our guidance, which we have been communicating over the last 15 to 18 months. That's it from our side, Aman. We can now have the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Rahul Agarwal from InCred Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. Congratulations on consistently meeting the stated targets and good to see a higher dividend payout as well. First question, Sanjay ji, was more on the competitive landscape. We hear from certain regional channel checks that Tata Structural and JSW Steel both have kind of ramped up their capacity in structural tubes, and JSW Steel has actually started manufacturing that. Few regional players also we hear are picking up quite a decent amount of volumes on a monthly basis. I just wanted to know your thoughts, because what is happening is there is some competition now building up for APL Apollo, which was absent for many years, and we had a very clear runway of growth. Just your thoughts on, is it really real, and what do you expect going into the next 2-3 years? That's my first question.
Thank you, Rahul. I also hear and read in the presentation of Tata Steel. Right now they have a capacity of 1 million ton, and they want to go to 4 million ton by 2030. But I have no plan with Tata Steel in which sector Tata is going to want to go for 4 million ton in the next 6-7 years. If we go for 4 million ton in the right now is in the structure to 0.2 million ton. If we calculate, so he has the capacity for structure to 0.2 to 1 million ton or 1.5 million ton. This is not a big threat for us. As well as Tata is a responsible player in the market. He never destroyed the market, so we are not worried about the Tata Steel. JSW just taken a plant called Bhushan Power in Odisha. They are little bit capacity of tube also in the rental plant. Still, we have no such information from the market what they are planning. In the conversation with JSW, हमको भी ऐसा कोई सिग्नल नहीं है. जब भी वो जिस लेवल पर भी आएंगे, we have no worry. So when there is a healthy JSW or Tata Steel, सब they are healthy players. I'm not worried about अगर कभी भी कोई आता है तो I'm not worried about कि they are not a market destroyer. Rather regional players, अगर ये लोग थोड़ी बहुत कैपेसिटी बढ़ाते भी है, तो my cost is in control, my everything is in control. I have a good value addition product with me. I have branding in the market. I have a good distribution network. पहले वो regional players को दिक्कत आएगा. I'm not worried at all. Market is also growing very fastly in the tube business. What we are प्रोडक्शन हम देख रहे हैं, जो गुड ऑटोमोबाइल में भी हर कोई सर्वाइव करेगा. ऐसा कोई बड़ा मैटर नहीं है हमारे लिए. बट टाइम टू टाइम अगर देयर इज हेल्दी कंपटीशन, यू नेवर उससे डरने का नहीं, उससे सीखने का. टाइम टू टाइम वी टेक द करेक्टिव एक्शन एंड गो फॉरवर्ड. ऐसा कोई आई डोंट सी टुडे एनी बिग थ्रेट.
Got it, sir. Understand. And second question was, how has been April and May so far? How are the HRC prices behaving? And obviously your target of 3.2 million ton at 5,000 rupees EBITDA next year basically needs like 7 lakhs, 7.25 lakhs quarterly run rate. So how are we placed on that? How is the market behaving?
As per we make the business plan for 3 million ton for this year. In the first half we are thinking we go for about 13 lakh ton. Maybe 14, maybe 12.5 to 14 lakh ton, anywhere between. And the second half, क्योंकि हमारा APL में एक मशीन और चालू होना रह गया है, जस्ट कमिश्निंग के लास्ट पॉइंट पे है. आई बी थिंकिंग कि जून में हमारा ये 3 कॉम्प्लेक्स है वहाँ पर APL में. वन कॉम्प्लेक्स वी आर कॉल्ड HSU कॉम्प्लेक्स, सेकेंड कॉम्प्लेक्स वी आर कॉल्ड वाइडर कॉम्प्लेक्स, थर्ड कॉम्प्लेक्स वी आर कॉल्ड नैरो सेक्शन कॉम्प्लेक्स. जबकि हमारा नैरो कॉम्प्लेक्स सबसे पहले शुरू हुआ था, बट वो उसमें अनफॉर्चुनेटली एक मशीन में फंस गया है, जिसका वो कॉम्प्लेक्स हमारा नहीं परफॉर्म कर पा रहा है. HSU कॉम्प्लेक्स और वाइडर कॉम्प्लेक्स ठीक चल रहा है. HSU कॉम्प्लेक्स तो धीरे धीरे करके डेवलप हुआ, टोटली न्यू प्रोडक्ट 500 स्क्वायर, डिपेंड वो 500 स्क्वायर, वो अभी 7-8 थाउजेंड टन के रन रेट पे आ चुका है HSU कॉम्प्लेक्स. वाटर कॉम्प्लेक्स हमारा 15 to 20,000 टन के रन रेट आ चुका है। नैनो सेक्शन हमारा 3-4,000 के रन रेट पर चला। जैसे जून और जुलाई में मशीन स्टेबलाइज होगी, इट्स जस्ट सुट द रैंप अप टू 30,000 टन स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड, क्योंकि दिस इज आवर ओल्ड मार्केट फॉर द ईस्ट। हमको उतना बड़ा कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आ रहा। जो प्रोडक्ट्स है उसमें हम काफी ऑलरेडी मार्केट क्रिएट कर चुके हैं। So we are thinking in the next half, we are going for 15 to 16 lakh ton anywhere, and we cross the target. At the point of steel prices, again from the month of April, steel prices are going down, but not like last year. Last year gap of from 75,000 to 55 or 50,000 rupees ton. This is a slightly slowdown. Like 1,000, 2,000, this is not a big chapter, but no doubt very chapter, but not a big chapter. You can manage it.
Got it, sir. Got it. Thank you so much for answering. I'll come back in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Rao.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Invest Research. Please go ahead.
Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. Yes, sir. You mentioned.
And go ahead with your question, sir.
I'm CA Garvit Goyal from Invest Research, sir. So my first question is on the your volume target. Like you mentioned, 30 lakh kind of volume in FY24 target, which is more than 30% growth in volume, right? So if we take your guided EBITDA per ton for 5,000, it gives us the EBITDA growth of approximately 50%. So can you elaborate on what are the projects in line for completion in FY24, which makes you believing this? I'm asking this because run rate for January was, I think it was 250,000, as you mentioned in earlier call. But considering your overall Q4 volume, it seems that monthly volumes declined in Feb and March, despite being good time for construction. So kindly put some color on that, sir.
So see, our products are sold through distribution channel. Okay, we are not dependent on a lumpy project B2B business where we have a strong order book. If you look at our inventory, that almost 30 days, which is right from the sourcing of raw material to the processing and dispatching, right? So we never had order book visibility in our business plan. So our job is to number one, innovate a product. Number two, create the market for that. Number three, then to distribute it efficiently so that it is possible for us and our channel partners at the same time. So if you look at my FY24 business plan, yes, we are targeting 30% volume growth, same like we did in FY23, right? And if you look at my 5-year, 10-year volume CAGR, so we are pretty much confident that this kind of run rate momentum is possible, right? Which we are fully confident about it. Last year, I mean, just to add to it, when steel prices crashed from 75,000 rupees per ton to 50,000 rupees per ton, even in that, I mean, that was, I would say, worst year for the steel industry. Even then, we could manage a 30% volume growth. And this year should be like more or less stable scenario for global commodities, and this momentum is also backed by all our innovation work what we have done in Raipur plant, right? So like we mentioned that there are two products which are already being established in the market, whether it is high dia tubes, run rate of 7,000-8,000 ton monthly. Whether it is roofing products, the coated products that also run rate at 15,000-20,000 ton, and with our more thicker sheets, thicker color coated sheets, which will start in 1-2 months, right? So that is only going to add to the momentum, and then the overall industry is also expanding. Right, it's not that only Apollo is growing, right? We are growing, but we are also getting good support from industry, and you will also see that it has never been the case that Q4 must have been the seasonally strong quarter for us, right? I mean, we try to make our business plan. Yes, it is more skewed to the second half, but then December quarter could be good, March quarter could be good for us.
Understood, sir. And sir, mainly, actually, my question was from the EBITDA per ton side. Like, despite showing 30%.
So yes, you heard us right. I mean, in FY23, our EBITDA per ton was 4,500, right? So this was despite the fact that we weathered or we faced the raw material decline pressure, right, from 75,000 rupees per ton levels to 50,000 rupees per ton levels. Plus, we were stabilizing our Raipur plant. So these two factors depressed EBITDA spreads, right? This year, FY24, even if we are able to achieve Q4 FY23 EBITDA levels, yes, we are talking about good jump in EBITDA more than our volume growth. Your assessment is right, and we are confident of that.
Okay, understood, sir. And sir, what will be the targeted value-added product percentage to your total volume in FY24?
Right. So FY23 it was slightly lower, right, versus FY22, but this will go back to 60% plus levels and eventually to 75%, right, when we have fully commissioned 5 million ton capacity. Because all new incremental capacity, whether it was Raipur which got commissioned or the new capacity which is coming, majority is value-added products. So FY24 we would be improving our sales mix with value-added product contributing 60% plus, and eventually to 75% when we hit our 5 million ton capacity in 3 years.
No, actually, I was asking what was the reason for this downfall in the VAP percentage? Because overall volumes were growing, so why this value-added percentage going down?
So if you look at last 2 years, FY21 and FY22, my general product category, it actually declined in absolute terms, right? Because the steel prices were high, so the affordability for my general products deteriorated. And that's why there was some shift towards the scrap steel or inferior products, right, in our industry. But now that the prices went down, right, so the affordability improved and there was recovery in our general products, right? So that led to some deterioration in sales mix, but we are not too much bothered about it, given the fact that Raipur is stabilizing well and Raipur is all high value-added products.
Understood, sir. And sir, one last question on the cash flow side. Actually, if you see the result PDF and the presentation, I think the figures are slightly different for cash flow from operating activities.
Right. So what happens is that I mean there is a reclassification. So you are comparing FY22 versus FY22?
No. It's not comparison. Actually, for FY23, your cash flow from operating activities that given in your presentation, and versus that given in your PDF, result PDF. That is, I think, slightly different. In result PDF, it is 690 CR, and in presentation, it is 946 CR.
No. So that is just some of the, like, in presentation, we try to give cash flow in the manner how investors like to analyze, right? And the result PDF is as per the accounting norms. But if you look at the lines, right, it is just that some lines we have taken up and some down. So there is no change in the numbers. It is just like it is just reclassification of some lines.
So what is your cash flow from operations for entire year?
1 minute, please. Yeah.
Yeah, there is some difference because in the financial statements, if the FDRs is more than 1 year, we are showing the other financial assets. It's amounting around to 50 crores. And in the cash flow, is the presentations we taken is a bank balance. That's why you are focusing on this difference.
So
that's why there is a difference.
just to add to it, so if you look at our other financial current assets, out of that, 2.6 billion, 260 crores is an FD, right, which our auditors, because it was more than 1 year, 365 days, so auditors suggested that it should be part of other current assets, not in the cash balance, right? So we adjusted that 260 crore of FD for that.
Understood.
And there is a note mentioned in the presentation for you.
Okay, understood. Thank you very much, sir. That is from my side, and all the best.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure that the management is able to address questions from all participants in the conference, please limit your questions to 2 per participant. For follow-up questions, you may rejoin the queue. The next question comes from the line of Dhruv from Ambit Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for taking my question, sir. So I had 2 questions. One was that if you look at the fourth quarter presentation in terms of the EBITDA split you give per section, so we're seeing a sharp jump in the general products, EBITDA per ton, which is, if you look at it from a 4-quarter perspective, is also the highest. So I just wanted to understand what has changed, sir, and if you should consider this as the new normal.
So Dhruv, see, I mean, this general product sales, right, and margins, they are very much sentiment driven, right? That's why they are. I mean, you will see the EBITDA per ton moving from 100 rupees per ton to 2,500 per ton, right? In Q4, if you see, because overall affordability of these general products versus inferior products, right? When the volume trends are good, we are able to get better margins on that. So it's a function of that. So we wouldn't say that 2,600 per ton has been established for the general category. If this segment doesn't grow, right, then there will be some pressure on that. So if you look at the contribution of this, right, to my overall EBITDA, that's not that high, right? So we just let it be driven by the market sentiment. So we go month on month, not even quarter by quarter in this.
All right, correct. And the second question was on your UAE expansion. So just wanted to understand that what is the kind of volume that you are expecting from there in terms of exports? And, in your 4 million guidance that you have given, what's the contribution that you are expecting from there? And in general, if you could just talk about the market opportunity there, how large it can be? Thanks.
So Dhruv, see, I mean, if you look at our last 4 or 5 years of growth, right, it has been heavily driven from the domestic market. But there was always the opportunity for us to go aggressively in the international markets, right? Given the fact that today APL Apollo is among top 3 steel tube producers globally, right? So this is one segment which we have been ignoring, but now we decided that we have to cater to it, right? Given the fact we have excess capacities, right? Given the fact we are able to hire best talent in the industry, okay? So we have good expansion, good volume maximization strategy from the export market. Now Dubai plays an important part because sitting in India and having access to expensive raw materials, you would understand, it doesn't make us price competitive when we are competing with Chinese or Turkish or steel tube producers globally. Okay, so if we had to grow this segment by 2x, 3x, which we have in our business plan, we needed access to a cheap raw material. Now, cheap raw material nearest port what we could find out was Dubai, right? In terms of the real estate land, what we are developing, in terms of the talent which is available, and in terms of accessibility for my existing team, right? So we are setting up a 300,000 ton plant in Dubai, which will be starting by Q4 of FY24. Right? I mean, if you look at my overall export sales, they were around 60,000 tons last year, out of like 2.2 out of 2.3 million ton sales volume. So this year we target to take it up beyond 100,000 tons. Okay. And with Dubai capacity coming online, we will be targeting 200,000, 300,000 tons over the next 3-4 years.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot and all the best ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Akshay Chedda from Canara Robeco Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yes, so two questions. So first is, sir, if you see the EBITDA per ton for this quarter, that is around expansion of around 500 rupees. But if we see that the product mix had deteriorated sequence and even raw material was also largely stable. So, sir, what do you attribute these 400, 500 rupees expansion to? Is it better pricing or how do we see this?
So two reasons. One is my incremental volume coming from Raipur, right? In 9 months, Raipur EBITDA per ton was a bit low. In Q4, as we did 73,000 ton volume, my EBITDA per ton moved in Raipur, and that contributed to my overall EBITDA at company level. One. Second, because the channel destocking stopped, right, after the raw material prices stabilized, right? So that also led us to improve our margins, right? When there is natural pull in the industry, we take out the discounts which we normally offer to our clients. So that led to improvement in the margin. So given the fact that not going to go down by again 25,000 per ton, which they did in FY23, we should be able to maintain these spreads for FY24.
So what would you guide for FY24 on the back, say the product mix will improve? So what would you guide? Would you continue with 5,000 in FY25 or would you revise your guidance?
Right. So for FY24, we are confident of 5,000 per ton plus minus 100 to 200 rupees per ton. Okay. And eventually with my 5 million ton of business plan, we should be around 5,500 to 6,500 per ton. I mean, that's the broad range.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pujan Shah from Congruence Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. One of my question would be, as we have shown in this presentation on competitive sheet, and in that we are seeing that the Welspun man is making a EBITDA margin of 19% with having a 80% of building material infrastructure sales. I'm not able to understand that the chart what is being presented, because in that thing SSAB is also been making 60%, but the EBITDA margin is 40%. Can you explain that? Because even the manufacturing capacity we have been the highest, revenue we have been the second highest. So how this is being evolved? Like why we are being with low EBITDA margin? Are they having a value-added product, like the contribution of value-added product will be more or like something like that?
So there are two reasons that why we put this up, right? So one is to show to our investors that this is the aspiration, right? This is possible in steel tube industry, which normally is looked as the commoditized or just a steel processing industry, right? Globally, when we look at players in Japan, in US, in Europe, right? So they are making these fancy mid-teens EBITDA margin. Okay. So one purpose is that. Second is to tell our investors that we are highly focused towards the building material and infrastructure space, right, which is related to construction, and all our innovation, all our product SKU range is focused towards this segment, right? So the fact of the matter that why the margins are like almost 4 times more than what there are in India. And in India, in the structural steel tubes, our spreads are the highest, right? So what we find out, what we could analyze is that in the construction sector, these companies are selling high thickness tubes for many years, right? And they have almost 40, 50, 60% of their volume coming from high thickness, right? Apollo started its journey into high thickness in 2018 when we put up our first 300 square dia mill, right? It took us a good 3-4 years to create the market for that, right? Now we are selling like more than 100,000 tons a year, right? So what then the next leg was to get into 500 square diameter mill, because we wanted to give the complete SKU range to the contractors, to the designers, to the structural engineers to design the structures using tubes. Now after 500 square, as it is ramping up, the next product line what we are adding this year is 1000 by 1000 mm, right? 1000 square mm dia mill. So that will give us further expansion of SKU range, right? So what we believe is that after this SKU profile, right, the volume uptake in big section, in super big section, will be much more quick versus what it has been over the last 3-4 years. So once we reach at those levels, even you will see that our margins will start inching up towards double digit and henceforth. Sanjay ji, please add to it.
What I see in my last 2 years, just before the COVID, I personally go to the industry of Jackalman industry in Chicago. I visit 3 plants of the Jackalman industry. There, the product percentage of the selling is almost 75% is the bigger sections, and high thickness and circular tubes. जो हमारा almost अभी 10% से भी less than we have 10%. This my economy of European or I don't visit the European companies, but I visit Japanese companies, but I visit the Jackalman very nearly. उसको बहुत बारीकी से बहुत वहीं से मेरा विजन भी चालू हुआ है. वहाँ की मार्केट डेवलप हो चुकी है. They are developing nations, and उनका जो प्रोडक्ट रेंज है हाई डायमीटर में ऑलमोस्ट 75 to 80% है. उसी रीजन पर मैंने अपने यहाँ पर काम शुरू किया, जो आज पुट फर्स्ट टाइम टेक 12 DFT मशीन से वॉल ऑफ शॉट मैंने एंड पुट 200 स्क्वायर 3 लाइन्स 1 2 3 या 3 लाइन ऑफ 200 स्क्वायर देन 300 स्क्वायर नाउ 500 स्क्वायर. तो अभी इंडिया में मैं जितने भी आर्किटेक्ट्स एंड इंजीनियर्स से मिल रहा हूँ, जब उनको वो डिजाइन बनाते हैं, कल भी आई जस्ट केम इन द आफ्टरनून फ्रॉम ए मैरिज, वहाँ पर काफी बिल्डर लॉबिस थी, वो लोग डिजाइन बनवाते हैं तो दे टॉक टू सर, ये तो माल ही नहीं मिलता है बिल्कुल. देयर इज नो एविडेंस, देयर विल बी अगेन कम बैक टू आरसीसी और पीबी डिजाइंस. तो वो ये इंजीनियर्स और आर्किटेक्ट्स बोलते हैं जब सर माल ही नहीं तो डिजाइन क्यों बनवाते हो. तो स्लोली ये चीजें यहाँ पर क्रिएट हो रही है, स्टेप टाइम. और जब इंडियन मार्केट में इसमें डेवलप हो जाएगी तो मैंने वहाँ पर बहुत कंपनी को टाइल्स में भी पेंट्स में भी स्टडी किया है. ऑलमोस्ट वहाँ का मार्जिन और इंडियन मार्जिन इवन बेटर है वहाँ से उन इंडस्ट्रीज में. तो आई ऑल्सो कांट अंडरस्टूड व्हाई शुड इन इंडिया मार्जिन कर देते. हमको तो अभी 2 ही रीजन समझ में आया है. वहाँ पर सेकेंडरी मटेरियल का कोई स्कोप नहीं है. नंबर 2, वहाँ पर हाई डायमीटर हाई थिकनेस के मटेरियल्स का मार्केट शेयर काफी ज्यादा है. आई एम होपफुल अगर ये 2 चीज इंडिया में होती है तो मैं भी आपकी तरह सबके ले रहा थी, मेरा भी मार्जिन 15,000 रुपये टन हो जाए. But I can't say it right now. But I am also working on this very deeply. I also worried about this point. अगर आप तो सिर्फ पाइप की बात करो तो आप अगर इसको अमेरिकन इंडस्ट्री और इंडियन इंडस्ट्री में टाइल्स पेंट और भी आइटम उठा के देखोगे तो ऑलमोस्ट इंडियन कंपनी के मार्जिन ज्यादा है. बट राइट नाउ आई हैव नो आंसर कि वहाँ पर सेकेंडरी मार्केट नहीं है, बड़े सेक्शंस का बड़े डायमीटर का वहाँ पर मार्केट शेयर ज्यादा है. इसके अलावा मेरे पास आपके को आंसर आई हैव नो आंसर. Thanks.
Okay, sir. That was a very elaborative answer. Just one the Dubai total tons, how many would be the tons in Q4 FY24? Just tonnage specific.
Q4 we are targeting Dubai about 10,000 tons.
10,000 tons. Okay. Thank you, sir. Sanjay sir. Thank you.
10,000 tons per month. Quarterly 30,000 tons.
30,000. Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aditya Velekar from Axis Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, can you just revisit on your sales volume guidance for FY24-25 and if possible for 26? And if you can quantify the splits with respect to individual plants, that how much is from existing, how much from Raipur, Dubai and Kolkata?
Right. So see, I mean, our vision 2025 is 5 million tons. Okay. So this means by FY26 we plan to exhaust this capacity and convert this into sales volume, actual sales volume. So that's 3-year sales volume target. Now coming to FY24, we are seeing 2.8 to 3 million tons, right? FY25, 3.8 to 4 million tons, and then FY26, 4.5 to 5 million tons, right? So that's how we try to break it up. Here, Dubai plant is 300,000 tons. New plant in East India will be 200,000 tons. Then there will be incremental capacity in Raipur over 1 million tons of around 300,000 tons, right? And then there will be some capacity expansion, brownfield expansion within the existing 10 plants ex Raipur that will give us additional capacity of 300,000-400,000 tons, right? So that's the broader math for 5 million tons.
Perfect. Thank you. So that's useful. And the next one is just if you can once again reiterate capex guidance for 24-25.
So right now we are at 3.6 million tons capacity, right? And to reach to 5 million tons, we may not require more than 500 to 600 crores rupees, right? This we should be spending over the next 12 to 18 months, and this will be 100% funded from the internal cash flows.
Okay, perfect. So one last question. So now recently there were reports of falling steel prices with steel prices falling in China. So are we seeing any signs of destocking from traders in anticipation of further fall in steel prices, or is the spot demand robust enough and we are confident that the demand will stay strong and the kind of volatility we have seen in FY23, that kind of destocking cycles may not get repeated in FY24?
See, I mean, if you look at our trend over the last 5 to 10 years, okay, steel is a very volatile commodity, right? And we are managing this quite efficiently, right, over the years. So the point here is that 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 per ton decline or increase, it's a very normal industry practice, right? Apollo's team, Apollo's plants, Apollo's system, and similarly our distributors, retailers, and further channel partners, right? So they are equipped to manage this 2,000-3,000 rupees per ton kind of volatility, right? It does impact, right, for a few days in terms of destocking, because if one understands that yes, there could be some decline in the prices, so they do hold on to their purchases, right? But then there are two factors what play into. One is that the secondary demand should be strong, given the fact that construction is doing well in India right now. So the secondary sales will remain good. The demand from the end consumer, whether he's a household owner or a contractor or a developer, right? So if those trends are good, then material keeps on flowing, right? And second is that normally if our distributors, they work with 25-30 days of inventory, when they want to destock, they may reduce it by 4-5 days. Right, so this is a general industry practice which may hit the volume for a few days or weeks, but not beyond that. So to answer to the question, yes, right now trends are a bit on low side. So it is impacting some volume, but not to the extent that we have to change our business plan or something.
Understood. Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aman Agarwal from Equirus Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So first, just wanted a clarification on recently saw an open offer made for SG Finserv by the promoters. So just wanted to get management strategy. Is there an intention to raise the stake in SG Finserv, or was this more from a compliance perspective?
So it was just from the compliance perspective because it being NBFC, it is guided by the RBI norms, and RBI approval came late, right? So it is just for the compliance purpose, nothing else. That company is well funded by the investors, right? And there is no plan of changing shareholding structure as of now.
Got it. So no further investments to be made in that company. Got it. And secondly, on the new products, so just wanted a comparative on, first with respect to the high diameter tubes, 500 by 500, and second, the color-coated tubes. So which product category do you see, getting better traction or faster traction for APL Apollo?
See, I mean, we are equally bullish on all the segments, right? Because whatever capex of 1,000 crore plus we have put in Raipur, that is with the vision that all three products will fire for us, right? In a same at the same pace, right? So today, right now, the coated products are giving us the maximum volume, right? The high dia, high thickness tubes, we have very strong visibility from our potential clients, right? It's just that the conversion takes a bit of time, but right now the pipeline is very strong, where some projects we are talking about more than 30,000-40,000 tons of consumption of our products in single project, right? So it may take 1 or 2 quarters to reflect into P&L, right? But given the pipeline, we are very bullish that this product, which is high dia, high thickness, will do really well. And thirdly, the thicker color coated products, right? There we have already developed the market, right? But now we are doing further processing, right? That will complete in next 2 months. And once it hits the production, right, even that volume ramp up will be very quick, because we have already done very hard work last year to develop market for that. So I would say that all products should fire for us over the next 3 to 4 months, right? And right now the focus is on 500 square, right? Because this is first of its kind mill in India. Globally, this would be only third, fourth mill, right? So our technical team has done a really wonderful job to make this happen. Given the fact there was like restrictions from traveling from Europe / China. So as the line is stabilized, market is there, we should be ramping it up pretty quickly. And from June, July onwards, the thicker coated sheet will fire at the same time.
So from what we understand, there is an existing market for these color-coated products. If you can throw some light on that, what's the total existing market size, and who are the key players that are operating here?
Right. So see, I mean, the coated products which you see in my sales volume, this is an adjacent product for me. Okay. Because in housing or in industrial, Apollo's tubes are already being used. Okay. For sure. Now, what I'm providing is the sheet. What we are now supplying is the sheet, right? Which goes over our structure. Right. So being an adjacent product, it's the same distributor whom I'm selling to. It's my same retailer whom my distributor will sell to, and then the fabricator who's going to install it,
and the same end construction site. But boss, इसमें ultimately we are putting a new type of concept. Do I think we come out with the month of October or December, third quarter के बीच में आ जाएगा. We have to give our consumer a permanent solution of wall. तो कुछ हमारी इस यहाँ रायपुर के कुछ एक दो लाइन हमारी फंसी हुई है. लाइक हमारे टिकर कोटेड में एक मशीन अभी चालू हो रही, बाकी होगी रह गई है, जिसका उसको हम खुल के मार्केटिंग नहीं कर पा रहे. इसी तरह ये कोटेड 2 एंड टिकर 6 में एंड ये वाइटर में भी हम हमारा एक मशीन फंसा हुआ जिससे हमें पूरे वॉल बना के सोल्यूशन हम कस्टमर को दे सके. ये दो एक लाइन हमारी और ये टिकर वाली लाइन तो हमारी जून में चालू हो जानी चाहिए. जून नहीं तो अर्ली वीक जुलाई में तो पक्का चालू हो जाएगी. और ये वॉल सोल्यूशन वाली लाइन हमारी अक्टूबर दिसंबर क्वार्टर में चालू होगी. तो इसका कंसेप्ट और क्लियर हो जाएगा. राइट नाउ हमको जो ऑप्शन मिल रहा है उसके थ्रू हम अपना खर्चे निकालने काम कर रहे हैं.
Understood, sir. And so lastly, on a broader level, from, what do you think can be an inflection point in terms of profitability or maybe the industry size, ERW industry size, where the large steel manufacturers can start to look more aggressively towards making a meaningful entry into this segment? I understand there is an already meaningful entry, but we have not seen much of capacity addition from their end in past few years.
Boss, you have to understand one point. What I'm just earlier telling, there is our difficulty is 2 points. One is secondary market. One is there is no market in India for the bigger sector in the big way. We are working the both way. Secondary market, 3-4 days I'm just in the Angul with Naveen ji. उनका एचआर कॉल का प्लांट आई थिंक अक्टूबर और नवंबर में चालू होने जा रहा है विद कैपेसिटी ऑफ 5 मिलियन टन. जेडब्ल्यू बिलाड़ी में दिसंबर और जनवरी में 5 मिलियन टन का प्लांट और एचआर कॉल का चालू होने जा रहा है. एनडीसी स्टील का ऑलरेडी गवर्नमेंट ने वो इंटेंट ऑफ लेटर मंगवा लिया है. सम ऑफ फ्यू स्टील प्रोड्यूसर उसको इंटेंट भी किया उसको लेने के लिए. एसआर एंड टाटा भी अपनी कैपेसिटी को रैंप एमएनएस एंड टाटा भी अपनी कैपेसिटी को रैंप अप कर रहा है. आज टुडे स्ट्रक्चरल स्टील का मार्केट टोटल इंडिया का ऑलमोस्ट 8 to 9 मिलियन टन का हो चुका है. राइट नाउ एपीएल इज 3 मिलियन टन. प्राइमरी स्टील मार्केट इज 1 मिलियन टन एंड सेकेंडरी ऑलमोस्ट क्लोज टू 4 मिलियन टन इस मार्केट का साइज हो चुका है. जैसे जैसे एचआर कॉल का प्रोडक्शन हिंदुस्तान में बढ़ेगा, I don't look at good vision for the secondary steel. तो वो मार्केट वहां से इतना बड़ा खाली होगा कि I don't think nobody can supply the material in the primary steel other than Apollo. बाकी कोई भी कंपनी थोड़ा बहुत ये कैपेसिटी बढ़ा सकता है, 1 लाख टन 2 लाख टन. मिलियन ऑफ टन में सिर्फ अपोलो कैपेसिटी बढ़ा सकता है ओवरनाइट. तो आई एम वेरी बुलिश. इसे टाइम पे कि हम कितना टाइम इसको हमको सर्वाइव करना पड़ता है. उस टाइम में मेरा बिकता है एज ए प्रमोटर बेस, एज ए कंपनी विजिटर बेस मेरा बिकता 4,000 रन जाता, 4,500 जाता, 5,000 होता, 6,000 होता. नॉट वरी सर, मतलब मैं कैश लॉस में नहीं हूँ. बिकॉज आई हैव विजन. विजन इज नॉट फॉर क्वार्टर 1 year. आई हैव विजन फॉर 2, 3, 5 years विजन. आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड की जब इंडियन इकोनॉमी 3 ट्रिलियन से 10 ट्रिलियन डॉलर होगा तो इंडिया में स्टील प्रोडक्शन जो है आज 130 मिलियन टन है, वहां से 300 मिलियन टन पर पहुंचेगा. तो हाउ मच ट्यूब रिवार्ड इन द इंडिया फॉर उस टाइम को देखने के आई टू सर्वाइव, मेरे को जिंदा रहने का है. मैं ऐसा कोई गलती नहीं कर बैठूं कि आज ये कंपनी ये कर रहा है, आज वो कंपनी वो कर रहा है, उससे डरके ऐसा काम कर लूं कि उस टाइम को देखने के लिए मेरा कंपनी नहीं बचे. तब जस्ट सेफ गार्डिंग माई कंपनी एंड टाइम टू टाइम टेकिंग द करेक्ट डिसीजन टू रीच द गोल. नंबर 2, बिगेस्ट सक्सेस डाया मार्केट क्रिएशन में बहुत ज्यादा काम कर रहे हैं. इस टाइम ऑलमोस्ट 200 पीपल का हमारा टीम डेली बेसिस पर आर्किटेक्ट्स एंड फैब्रिकेटर्स एंड गवर्नमेंट एजेंसी का मार्केट डेवलपमेंट में लगा हुआ है. कभी हमने 3 रेलवे स्टेशन का हमने डिजाइन चलकर आपको देखा हुआ टेंडर फ्लोट हुआ है. ये अहमदाबाद रेलवे स्टेशन, दिल्ली रेलवे स्टेशन एंड मुंबई रेलवे स्टेशन. ऑलमोस्ट 3 रेलवे स्टेशन में 2 लाख टन पाइप का ट्यूब लगना है. इसी तरह अभी हमने टैंक पर काफी काम किया है. अभी यूपी गवर्नमेंट ने लगभग 60,000 टैंक का ऑर्डर प्लेस ये टेंडर दिया हुआ है. उसमें हमने 1 टैंक सक्सेसफुली उनको ट्यूब पर बना के दे दिया है. एक टैंक में लगभग 16 टन पाइप लगा है। अगर वो 60,000 टैंक का ऑर्डर ट्यूब पर कन्वर्ट होता तो क्रिएट 1 मिलियन टन मार्केट। इसी तरह आसाम गवर्नमेंट अभी 10,000 टैंक के ऑर्डर पर हमारे साथ वर्किंग कर रही है। तो लॉट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज, लॉट ऑफ बिल्डर्स, लॉट ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स आर वर्किंग विद अस। आई एम लुकिंग कि आज नहीं तो कल ये सब चीज होगा, और ये कोई इंडिया में नया नहीं हो रहा है, ऑलरेडी अमेरिका, चाइना, सब जगह पर हो रहा है। तो आई वेटिंग फॉर द टाइम, आई हैव पेशेंस। उस पेशेंस तक मेरा EBITDA मार्जिन 5,000 है, 45 है, 55 है, 6,000 है। ठीक है, आज टुडे वी हैव टू ऑल्सो सर्वाइव। नंबर्स पर वर्क कर रहे हैं, काम कर रहे हैं। बट मेरा बिग विजन जो है कि जब ये सब मार्केट में हाथ में इकट्ठा आएगा, ये सेकेंडरी मार्केट यहाँ से जैसे स्टील कैपेसिटी बढ़ेगा, अब स्टील प्लांट्स वाले इस टाइम 20,000 रुपीज टन का EBITDA कमा रहे हैं। अगर बस आप एक चीज जोड़ोगे 20,000 टन का EBITDA इनको मिलेगा, तब सोचोगे 3-4 साल में हिंदुस्तान में कितना स्टील कैपेसिटी क्रिएट हो जाएगा। जस्ट राइट नाउ टुडे आई एम सिटिंग विद सम गाय, कोई कह रहा था JSPL, जिसमें स्टेनलेस स्टील भी 4 साल का एक मिल लगा रहा है। तो अगर 20,000 टन, अगर पाइप पे 3-4,000, 5,000 रुपए का बिकता तो कितने लोग अट्रैक्ट हो रहे हैं। जब स्टील में 50,000 रुपए का बिकता है, 20,000 रुपए का बिकता तो कितने लोग अट्रैक्ट हो गए। अपने सोचो हिंदुस्तान में कितनी कैपेसिटी आएगी। हु इज द बेनिफिशियर फॉर दिस कैपेसिटी? नो डाउट अपोलो इज द बेनिफिशियर फॉर दिस कैपेसिटी। I'm not worried about Tata is not putting a pipe mill, JSW is not putting a pipe mill. I'm waiting for my right time to when the India 20,000 टन कमाने वाले कितना स्टील कैपेसिटी बनाते हैं। I'm just waiting for the time. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir, for the detailed explanation. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amruta from Wealth Managers India Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for the opportunity. So my question is now, the current capacity is 3.6 million metric tons, right? So if you could give us the breakup of like the capacity for the application wise, that will be helpful.
Right. So Amruta, if you look at my sales volume, right, for FY23, right, it is around 50% housing, right, and 25% commercial and 25% infrastructure, right. So that's the broader application mix, right, for our products, and this 3.6 million ton capacity versus 2.3 million ton volume. In this, the housing and commercial segment will be a bit higher because of introduction of our coated products. That's more used in residential and light fabrication jobs. So more or less, we'll stick to like 55% housing, right, 25% commercial, and 20% infrastructure.
And what could be the split of capacity between the structural, as in heavy, super heavy, light, general, Apollo V, and Apollo Gal?
Right. So we can share this data with you, right, over like one-to-one interaction. I don't have it handy right now.
Okay. Second question is regarding the debt position. As in, right now the debt is 2.5 billion rupees. So like we are going to do capex of increasing the capacity to 5 million tons. So from like what could be the like when can we expect the company to become net cash positive?
Right. So Amrita, if you see, I mean, this year FY23 we did 10 billion of EBITDA, right, and almost 9.5 billion operating cash flow. Okay. So this operating cash flow of 9.5 billion was FY23, and given that we have given that I mean we have strong growth plans both in profitability and volume, right? So this operating cash flow should improve, right? Assuming the fact that our working capital days will remain where it is, right? So having like incremental operating cash flows in FY24 and my residual capex to reach to 5 million ton is less than 6 billion INR today, 600 crores. Okay. So this could be funded from like, you know, operating cash flows, what we're going to generate over 4 to 6 months, because that's the timeline when we will complete this expansion to 5 million ton. So eventually we should be debt free, right, by FY24 end or early FY25. Hope this is clear, Amrita.
Yes, thank you very much.
Right. Moderator, can you have the last question, please?
Yes. The last question will be from the line of Shashank Agrawal from Aukwan. Please go ahead. Shashank Agrawal, the line for you has been unmuted. Please go ahead with your question. As there is no response, we'll take the next question from the line of Mitul Shah from Reliance Securities. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, I have two questions. One is on the railway side, railway modernization related, which we discussed in past one or two Concall, was at a primary stage at that time. So any further update, or are we getting any sizable orders on that side?
Right. So Mitul, I'm very glad to share with you that one railway station in South India, it got approved, our tubular design got approved, right, last week, and right. So the contractor will release the order, right, within this month. Okay. And at the same time, today we are in touch with at least 20 contractors, okay, who have won the orders already, right? And single contractor is working on at least 4-5 railway stations. So the railway station which I'm talking about, the one which we closed already, right? The same contractor is working on one more station in South India, right? We are working with one contractor who has won 5 stations in North and West India, right? So this is like so this is like a trend where the contractors have understood that if they go on tubular design, they are saving a lot of money, right? So with this South India station construction getting started over the next 1-2 months, this is going to open massive doors for us. Apart from that, there are like 3 mega stations which Sanjay ji spoke about in Bombay, Ahmedabad, and Delhi. So Delhi and Ahmedabad stations where the bidders were L&T and APCON. So their bids were higher than the government budgets, right? So they are so government is again working to kind of lower the scope of these redevelopments so that it comes under the government budget. But Mumbai is going as per the plan, right? And we are already talking to the contractor where we are submitting the tubular design, right? So given the fact that there are going to be 1,500 new railway stations under redevelopment in India over the 5 years, right? I mean, this opportunity is mammoth in size.
Sir, in terms of any value or tonnage or anything per railway station you can share, and what duration this contract should be spread over?
Right. So I'm sure, you know this data point. We have told you that in a high-rise building, the steel tube consumption is 5 to 6 kgs per square foot. But in railway stations where the dead load is high and there is vibration metrics which you need to take control, right? The tonnage is above 10 kg per square foot for a railway station design.
So per station, how much in value terms roughly as of current?
So it will vary from the size of the railway station. When we talk about 1,500 stations, there could be like a very small station in a small district of Uttar Pradesh, and we talk about New Delhi railway station, right, with 7,000 crore budget. There the tube consumption will be minimum 40,000 tons, right, versus a small district where the minimum tonnage will be 500-600 tons. Minimum will be 500 tons, and maximum it will go to 40,000 tons.
And second question on your EBITDA per ton for FY24, wherein going forward as New Raipur is ramping up, most of this product category in the range of 6,000 to 9,000 rupees per ton kind of products are increasing in terms of contribution. Even in terms of volume, whatever we have done in this quarter, if we annualize, we are guiding even higher for next full year. So there is already operating leverage you are indicating. So this 5,000 per ton kind of indication plus or minus 100, 200 rupees seems to be too low. So what is restricting us from guiding better margins, maybe 5,500, 6,000 kind of number? Based on logic, it seems to be should be quite high. Or is there anything we are missing out on that for FY24 and 25?
So there are two things. See, I mean, even Raipur, if we do 500,000, 600,000 tons, right, in Raipur, the utilization will be 50-60%. And given the fact the incremental 300,000 ton is coming, so the capacity by end of FY24 in Raipur will be 1.3 million tons. And on that, if we are doing 500, 600,000 tons, so we are still like below 50%, right? So the real Raipur you will see in FY25 or maybe Q4 of FY24. Right, when you see the real Raipur EBITDA being visible, right? And second, the fact is that I mean the 5,000 rupees per ton again. It is as per our business plan, this number is quite impressive because at the same time we need to ramp up our volume, right? From 2.3 million ton we are targeting 3.0 million ton. Right, so there could be like few months where there could be like some volatility in the steel prices, and there might be some channel destocking. So we have to be ready for that, right? So that's why I mean with whatever caution you may say, right, we are guiding for 5,000 per ton. But yeah, if sentiments are good, if macro tailwinds are there could be a higher number. So let's hope for the best, and maybe we could have some joker in the pack when we talk after 12 months.
Sir, thank you for the detailed explanation and all the best, sir. Thanks once again.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining the call. Sanjay ji, you want to?
Yeah, I want to share my views with my channel partners or my investors, stakeholders in the company. First of all, I thank you, all of you, to believe on us. Maybe we are late by 1 or 2 quarters, and for your for some patience, I am very very thankful. और हमारी और मेरी मैनेजमेंट की पूरी कोशिश होगी कि we never let you down. But I want to share my vision with you. First of all, we are now in the process of making a organization. As you some people know or some people don't know. I don't know. In the 1st of April, we totally reworked all our organizations, and we boosted a lot of junior people in our organization from the senior post. Right now, Deepak Goel is our CEO. तो एक वो प्रोसेस में हम थोड़ा सा केयरफुल है कि जब वी आर गोइंग इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ मेकिंग ए ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, तो वी हैव टू वेरी केयरफुल कि सब नीचे के लड़के हमारे ग्रुप लेकर ऊपर आए हैं, तो मैं थोड़ा सा केयरफुल चल रहा हूँ. नंबर 2, आई हैव विजन फॉर इंडिया 3 ट्रिलियन to 10 ट्रिलियन ये स्टोरी 3 to 10. मेरे हिसाब से जो ये ऑल द स्टील मेकर्स और ऑल द ये इकोनॉमिस्ट आर सेइंग कि ये 200 मिलियन टन की बात करो, स्टील या 300 मिलियन टन की 300 मिलियन टन की स्टील मेकिंग की बात कर रहे हैं. अगर हिंदुस्तान 300 मिलियन टन स्टील की मेकिंग में आता है, आज स्ट्रक्चर स्टील की मार्केट इंडिया में ऑलमोस्ट 6% के आसपास है, प्राइमरी और सेकेंडरी को मिला के 130 मिलियन टन के. इंडियन मार्केट इज क्लोज टू 8 मिलियन टन. ये मार्केट किसी भी आप अगर इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड से देखोगे 10 से 12% के आसपास है. अगर मैं उसको 10 साइड को भी नंबर को कैलकुलेट कर दूं, ये मार्केट 10% की मार्केट होती है और 2013 300 मिलियन टन पर 10% से 30 मिलियन टन की स्ट्रक्चरल टू की मार्केटिंग होनी चाहिए. राइट नाउ वी हैव अ टोटल कैपेसिटी ऑफ 8 मिलियन टन. इसमें कहा 1-2 मिलियन टन 3 मिलियन टन की कैपेसिटी आ रही है नहीं आ रही है, आई एम नॉट वरी बिकॉज आई एम वर्किंग विथ टाटा स्टील, JSW वेरी क्लोजली एंड वेरी उनके बहुत वर्क कर रहा हूँ. हमारा सबका एक ही बात हो रहा है कि हाउ वी कैन इंक्रीज द मार्केट. दिस इज बेनिफिशियरी फॉर ऑल ऑफ सर. ट्यूब में गिव मार्जिन ऑफ 3-4-5,000 रुपीज तक का मार्जिन है. मैं जो इन लोगों से बात कर रहा हूँ, स्टील में मार्जिन आज इंडिया में किसी भी स्टील कंपनी का 15-20,000 रुपीज टन से नीचे नहीं है. अगर आज ये लोग मार्केट ये मेकिंग और स्टील मेकिंग पर जाएंगे, अगर इनका बिट्टा मार्जिन 1,000-2,000 टन से कम भी हो जाता तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. बट 300 मिलियन टन पर बिट्टा मार्जिन 15,000 हो, 12,000 हो, 20,000 बिग रेशो. आज ये कल ये सब लोग अंडरस्टूड करेंगे. दिस इज ए सब रूमर्स की आज टाटा स्टील ये करेगा, JSW ये करेगा. दिस इज ए रूमर्स इन द मार्केट. वो ये छोटे छोटे डीलर्स ये सब ज्यादा रूमर्स प्रेस करते हैं टू कंप्लीट और डराने के लिए. ये चीज डरने के लिए ये चीज काफी होपफुल है फॉर द इंडस्ट्री. अगर मेरा एक ही विजन है कि 2030 में हिंदुस्तान की मार्केट 3 मिलियन टन तक पहुंचेगी, तो इन ट्यूब मार्केट सेक्शन ट्यूब मार्केटिंग ऑलमोस्ट क्लोज टू 30 मिलियन टन तक पहुंचेगी. हाउ कैन अपोलो गो टू 10 मिलियन टन फॉर विजन 2030? आई एम वर्किंग ऑन दिस. अगर 2030 में मैं 10 मिलियन टन की बात कैसे करूंगा, हु इज कैपेबल फॉर गोइंग 10 मिलियन टन और 15 मिलियन टन और 5 मिलियन टन से ऊपर की मार्केट पर जाएगा. आई एम वर्किंग ऑन दिस. आई एम नॉट मैटर 1 क्वार्टर 2 क्वार्टर नंबर ऊपर है नीचे है, 1 ईयर नंबर नीचे ऊपर. आई एम नॉट मैटर. माई फर्स्ट विजन का मेरा 2025 विजन 5 मिलियन टन. आई एम ऑलमोस्ट क्लोजिंग टू, ठीक है, मेरा 5 मिलियन टन 2026 में 2027 हो जाएगा, हो सकता है 2024 में 5 मिलियन टन पूरा कर दे. दूसरा विजन मेरा हाउ कैन आई गो टू 10 मिलियन टन इन 2030 विदाउट APL को फंसाए, विदाउट डेट प्रेस में आए, विदाउट बैलेंस शीट को हैवी किए बिना मैं कैसे 10 मिलियन टन जाऊं. हाउ आई क्रिएट द मार्केट फॉर इंडियन 30 मिलियन टन का स्टील ट्यूब का मार्केट मैं कैसे क्रिएट करूं. आई एम वर्किंग ऑन दिस. और क्या इस मार्केट को नया नया प्रोडक्ट चाहिए, कस्टमर की क्या क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है. आई एम वर्किंग ऑन दिस. तो आई एम वेरी होपफुल. मे बी मैं थोड़ा लेट हो सकता हूँ, बट मेरे को इतना पक्का विश्वास है, आप लोगों को मैं विश्वास दिला सकता हूँ एज ए स्टेक होल्डर कि मैं फेलियर नहीं होऊंगा. मेरे थोड़ा लेट हो सकते हैं, बट क्योंकि मैं साइड बहुत बड़ा हो गया तो एक डिसीजन बहुत सोच समझ के स्टेप उठाना पड़ता है. वो कहावत है हमारे यहाँ, हाथी जब चलता है तो उठने में भी टाइम लगाता है, बैठने में भी टाइम लगाता है. तो मेरे साथ बहुत लोगों की लाइफ अब मेरे साथ स्टेट पे आ चुकी है. ऑलमोस्ट कंपनी है 2 लाख शेयर होल्डर विथ मी, ऑलमोस्ट 4,000 एम्प्लॉइज विथ मी. और अगर हम एक एम्प्लॉय को 4,000 से 4 से मल्टीप्लाई करें तो 16,000 फैमिलीज डायरेक्टली मेरे साथ इन्वॉल्व है. ट्रांसपोर्टर्स आज अननोन है, नो काउंट है. तो मेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बहुत ज़्यादा बन जाती है कि मेरे को सब चीज़ों का ध्यान रख के एक एक स्टेप उठाना है. तो दिस आई कैन इंश्योर यू, दिस आई कैन बिलीव मैं आपको विश्वास दिला सकता हूँ कि मेरी पूरी कोशिश होगी और हम डांस का कोई गलत काम नहीं करेंगे. गलती कर सकते हैं, हमारी इंटेंशन कभी गलत नहीं होगी काम करने की. और मेरे ऊपर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बहुत ज़्यादा है सबका केयर करने के लिए. आप लोग का ट्रस्ट नहीं तो उसके लिए भी मेरे पर आई लॉट ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. तो डोंट वरी, आई एम ट्राइंग टू लेवल फर्स्ट कि मैं अपना 5 मिलियन टन का एक विजन कंप्लीट करूँ. उसके बाद देन वी गो फॉर द 10 मिलियन टन विजन. वो अगले 1 साल में सब समझ के आई शेयर विथ माई विजन टू यू. और दिस इज नॉट वरी, अगर JSW या टाटा स्टील कोई भी ट्यूब बिजनेस लाते हैं, दिस इज वेरी ग्रेटफुल टू इंक्रीज दिस मार्केट. दिस इज अ पॉजिटिव सिग्नल. जब लोग ट्यूब इंडस्ट्री को नहीं समझते थे, आज एटलीस्ट everybody is talking about ट्यूब इंडस्ट्री. दिस इज अ बिग विन फॉर अपोलो. थैंक यू very much.
Thank you. On behalf of Equirus Securities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.